But I want to thank Maisha House for sponsoring this weekend. Just kidding, it was actually Maishi's house. You're going to get a lot of puns tonight. We did a pun yesterday, and we're doing puns tonight. So I'll start off with some pun jokes, right? Like, why didn't that many Lubavitchers get COVID? Because they had good immune systems. Like, why was the immuna? It's like imuna. Why was the Shema afraid of the Ve'ahavta? Because Ve'ahavta ate Hashem Elokecha. If you know, you know. Did you know that there's this old, like, Kabbalistic medieval tractate about cryptocurrencies? It's called Shar HaBitcoin. I think they're studying a lot now in Crown Heights because everyone's trying to become like a Bitcoin millionaire there. Nissim Black, for those of you who don't know, he performed last year at the C-Teen conference. So I was there and I actually got to meet his parents. I met Nissim Black's mom and dad. And I said, Misha Asa Nissim, when I saw them. So how do you guys know that the Baal Shem Tov was like the greatest rabbi of all time? Because he was the best. So a few weeks ago we read the parsha about Yaakov getting married to Leah, Yankiv getting married to Leah and Rachel. And how did he not know that it was Leah behind the veil? It's because he didn't have Kala ID. These jokes, they just get really good. Here's an old classic. Some of you may have heard it, some of you may not. I didn't come up with this one. So there's like a rabbi, a priest, and an imam. They were all like discussing how they divvy up the funds that get donated to their respective institutions. So the priest said, here's what I do. I take a piece of chalk, I draw a giant circle on the ground, I take all the cash, I throw it up in the air, whatever falls in the middle, I keep for myself, and whatever falls on the outside, I give to God. And the imam said, no, that's not how you do it. I draw a circle on the ground, I take the money, I throw it up in the air, whatever falls in the middle, I give to God, and whatever falls on the outside, I keep for myself. And then he turned to the rabbi and said, what do you do? He says, I take the money, I throw it up, and whatever God wants, he can keep. Yeah, that's like, if you're a rabbi in a Chabad house, definitely use that joke a lot in your Divrei Torah. Take note. Okay, so in Chabad.org, I've learned a lot of words that are from Yiddish. But there's a lot of English words that like feel like they should be Yiddish, like spatula. It sounds like something small, like a spatula. Far-fetched. It has the word far. It's like, oh, that's so far-fetched. It sounds like something my grandmother would say. Shmush, like something got smushed, like shmush. It's bad. All right, so yesterday we were, here's another great pun joke. What bread did the Tanoim eat? Lechem Mishnah. Okay, great. What did the Jews sing when the manna fell from heaven? It's a rain in man. All right, those of you who know, you know. So my mom plays this game, which is like, which celebrities are Jewish, right? Like, whenever there's a celebrity, she wants to know if they're Jewish, so she always Googles, is blah, blah, blah Jewish, right? And if they're not Jewish, the next thing she searches is blah, blah, blah's wife Jewish, right? And if that's not good enough, she's like, is blah, blah, blah secretly Jewish? And I'm like, Mom, why would Google return results for that? So there's a singer called Michael Bublé. I don't know if any of you heard of him. He sings some songs. So one time I had to borrow her phone, and I saw in her Google search history, it's like, is Michael Bublé Jewish? Is Michael Bublé's wife Jewish? Is Michael Bublé secretly Jewish? I said, Mom, how? Like, what were you thinking? She's like, I don't know. Maybe he could have been like Mordechai Babala. I was like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, Michael Bublé, Mordechai Babala. He changed his name when he got into show business. Yeah, that's a true story. So what did Mayor Simcha say to our friend over here, Noach Linton, when he did a good job? He said, Shkoyach Reb Noach. True story. So now that I'm working at Chabad.org, I've learned a little lingo in Crown Heights, right? Like, so there's so many people with the same name. You have to say, like, so who's your grandfather? That's how you make small talk here. So I'll tell you a little story about how I got to where I am, because you'd be like, how's this guy here? So when I grew up, I went to a Jewish day school. It was community day school, sort of like conservative, reformadox, one of those like everyone fit into one building and no one knew what they believed. But we got to go to each other's bar and bat mitzvahs. So most of the kids went to the conservative, the modern Orthodox, but when we went to the Reform kids' bar mitzvah, we like laughed our tuchus off because we were like, yes, we don't have to pray. No one's praying here. We can like take the day off. And then we felt bad by the Aleinu, so we like started davening at the end, and the usher came up and was like, guys, 10 more minutes, please, keep it down. It's a true story. And then there was one Lubavitch teacher in the school, and he convinced my parents to have me go to Gan Yisrael. And how many of you went to Gan Yisrael here? A lot of you. So did they have this everywhere where they like have they convince the kids we're like escaping from the camp and we're gonna go to 7-Eleven and get slushies. Yeah, it's the runaways, right? I was like, oh my gosh, they're like, we're running away. Like, this is dangerous. And then years later, when I'm in Crown Heights, Yaakov Leaf, who was my counselor in Gan Yisrael all those years ago, he's like, oh, it's good to see you here. And then I said, oh, I remember those runaways. He's like, yeah, we planned those. It's like, you planned those runaways? It's like in the Goyish world, when they find out there's no tooth fairy, they're heartbroken. For us, it's when we find out the runaways, we're faked.
I did a real runaway.
You have to run away?
No, I did a real runaway.
Oh.
I did without my counselor. She was very mad. My mom was very happy though.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked at a summer camp and they like trained us for all these different scenarios. They're like, if a kid has a mental breakdown or if you catch two kids doing bad things, and they like trained us for every like possible scenario imaginable of danger. And then on the first day of camp, I'm like ready to tackle anything. And a kid comes up to me and I'm like, yes, I'm about to engage in one of the intricate scenarios that we practice. And he's like, excuse me, Mr. Dude, where's the garbage? And I was like, it's literally right here. He's like, oh, thanks. I was like, this is literally the job of being a counselor here. Just answering, where's the garbage? It's right here. So I've noticed that Simon Jacobson wrote this book called Towards a Meaningful Life. And then Manis Friedman wrote some other book with the word meaningful life in the title. So I kind of want to get on that gravy train of like writing books about meaningful lives. So I have a few titles here. It's like From Alma to Almana, a Jewish woman's guide to leading a meaningful life. Or it's like From Shadchan to Badchan, how to get a meaningful shidduch. Then there's like From Sheva Brachas to 7 children. So I have all these titles worked out. Okay, great. So some of you heard this joke earlier, but I'm going to tell it again for those of you who didn't hear it. And I'm getting more from every day in Chabad.org. I'm starting to wash my hands after using the bathroom. Not the hygienic one, right? I'm going to do that in a couple months.
1 o'clock at a time.
1 o'clock at a time. Yeah, when I tell people I work at Chabad.org, the first thing they say is that they use it to figure out what time Shabbat is, right? And when I tell them, oh, we have 90 people working on our payroll, and they're like, why do you need 90 people to figure out what time Shabbos is? I'm like, well, we have a scout in each part of the country reporting back. Thank you. So, all right, this one's a little racy, but I feel like each movement of Judaism, they shtup the same way they daven. Reform is like once a year. Orthodox 3 times, sometimes 4 per day. Conservative, whenever they feel like it, they get to pick and choose. All right, that one didn't go over well. So I'm running a new class called How to Be a Baal Tshuva. It's things they didn't like teach you in the class about like Torah and mitzvahs, like how to like really get into the culture of it, right? So like in your old life, you would say the word like aware, but now you have to say aware, right? So any word that used to be like air is ear. So I have, like it's not fear that I saw a beer, I was not aware of it. And for some reason, only Crown Heights people talk like that. Also in this class, I would teach the Baal Tshuvas that it's pronounced Rebbe, and if anyone tries to correct you and say it's Rebba, insist that it's Rebbe until like you just finally give in and say Rebba. Here's another thing I learned at Chabad.org. It's not Oi, it's not like Toira or Moishi, it's Tyra and Maishi, right? So it's like not slime. It's not shloimi. It's slimy, like slimy. It's like maishi, 3 blind mice, 3 blind maishis, 3 blind maishis. When this whole, by the way, Mati, before I came up here, he told me no tunnel jokes, so we're gonna have to make as many tunnel jokes as possible. Apparently, after last month, the most common name, it used to be Menachem for like Chabad kids, now it's in the tunnel. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And one of the craziest conspiracy theories is that I heard online afterwards was that Chabad rabbis, they're like spying for the Mossad because there's like one in every country. And I'm like, they can't even spy for their meisid. How could they? They're like, oh, is he Jewish? Is he Jewish? Like, they're too busy figuring out who's Jewish to spy for the Mossad. So then I also learned at Chabad or what a mushroom Chabad is. And previously I thought it was a Chabad where people went to go do mushrooms. That's in like Isla Mujeres in India, but they're also a mushroom Chabad. But in the mushroom Chabads, they're high on something else, okay? It's the Bayrei Oilam. Just kidding, that's Lakewood. Okay, so have any of you been to like a conservative or reform bar mitzvah? They sometimes have like motivational dancers there. Anyway, none of you, like they kind of try to make people like get in the mood to dance. Chabad, we got the dance up, but I realized that we have to use the motivational dancers to spread Torah, right, and spread Chabad. So, like, if we're doing like one of these dance moves, there's like wrap the tefillin, okay, and then there's like drive the mitzvah tank, okay, and then there's like, are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? No, I gotta go. I am Jewish, but I'm gonna lie, you know. Yeah. So. Remember that kid in the tunnel? When he grows up, he's going to marry a girl named Sheva, and her family calls her Shovel for short. So the tunnel and Shovel, they have a very happy marriage. And everyone was focusing on this child trafficking in the tunnels, but no one's focusing on the child trafficking outside of 770. There's too many children running in traffic. The child trafficking is horrible. Where are their parents? Why are they not supervising their children? And like tunnels, when Elon Musk digs tunnels, boring, right? But when Chabad makes tunnels, conspiracy, you know? It's not fair, it's anti-Semitic. I guess my time is almost up, but in Crown Heights, everyone's either hipster, Hasidic, or homeless, or one of those combinations. Like if you're hipster and Hasidic, you're at Chevra Avas Yisrael. If you're homeless and Hasidic, you're either in front of 770 or at Rubashkin's Sukkah. And if you're homeless and hipster, I haven't figured out where they are, but they're definitely somewhere. Last week I was in the Upper East Side to see Mati at his son's bris. But in the Upper East Side, what's crazy is all the young Jewish professionals there, they're very confident. Like, they have a direction in life. You ask them, what do? They give you a one-word answer. They say things like doctor, accountant, lawyer. If you meet a Jewish young professional in Crown Heights, you ask them, what do? They'll like kind of give you their life story. They're like, well, I sort of live in my parents' basement, but 2 days a week I work for this meisid, and I drive someone to Muncie, and I work for Chabad.org. They don't pay me yet. And in the summers, I go to the vineyards. It's just a big story. You never get the straight answer. And people ask me all the time, can you publish this on Chabad.org? Can you publish that? No, they don't even publish what I write. All right, so here's the top 5 words I've learned working at Chabad.org. There's toichen, number 5, okay? There's peulis, number 4. 3, chaparine, okay? Number 2, taka. Number 1, tunnels. Okay. Yeah. All right, back in the day, I used to work at a Chabad yeshiva, and we had to do this thing called, like, one person would share a Habashacha Pratis story that week. And so, like, one kid one week is like, told the story of Habashacha Pratis, how his sister was sick, and then all of a sudden they ran into a doctor who happened to be the right doctor, and now his sister is better. Like a real Hashgacha Pratis story. And then one week, this kid who like wasn't the best behaved kid or whatever, he's like, this week Jacob assigned us homework, and then he didn't check the homework, so and I didn't do the homework, so it's Hashgacha Pratis. And I was like, well, that's Hashgacha Pratis because now I'm checking the homework. So it was pretty bad. One word that I still won't get myself to say is niggin. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. Yeah. Over here we have Shlomo Nudelman, all the way from Argentina. My grandfather's from Argentina as well. So I want to find him a shidduch from the Kogo family, and then they'll hyphenate their name, and then it'll be Shlomo Noodle Kogo. Apparently, a Lakshin married a Kogo, and it was Chasia Kogo and Shalom Lakshin, and then it was Chas v'Shalom Lakshin Kogo. All right, I have a question. Fill in the end of this pasuk. V'ha'ir Shushan. Yeah. Nice. All right, yeah, because Adar, we got to be besimcha. All right. Nah, it's all good. So, all right, I'll finish off this with